history, grew up in a single mother home. I'm a survivor of child abuse. Don't want these things for my kid. So I actively, I work against it. I'm also a veteran. I'm very blunt with my words. And that's also something I'm known for online. It's just a personality thing, right? It's if I wanted to be mean, we know how girls could be mean, okay? So I promise I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just a very direct individual. But you said earlier what my advice would be to a woman who's on 27 and who's been on Tinder. My immediate thing is get off of Tinder. Stop doing that stuff. And also when it comes to sexuality, there's this concept of pair bonding. So there are promiscuous people that are happy to smash and pass and they're cool with it, but they're at the extremes of sociosexuality. That's not most people. Most of the men that we sleep with, we probably want relationships with. What do you guys think about that? Right?
Personally, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys think that men, when they're sleeping with women, do you think most of them want relationships with the women that they're sleeping with, or do you think that they're just trying to get their rocks off?
I think it's 50-50, honestly.
Okay, what do you guys think?
What was the question?
Yeah, sorry, repeat it.
So I was saying that I think that women, because the majority of us are, per David Buss and his work, he's I think an evolutionary psychologist. So most of us are long-term mating strategists, right? Mm-hmm. So most of the guys that we sleep with, we probably want to date. Do you think that most of the men who have access to women that they sleep with, do you think that they want to date those women?
I have dated every single guy I think that I've slept with. Mm-hmm. I have consistently, it's not always beneficial, but I've dated around and been exclusive with every single guy that I've ever slept with. I would say it kind of is just the kind of guy you're talking
Don't worry about it.
It's just kind of the guy you're talking to. It kind of just depends what you're looking for and what kind of guy you attract or what kind of guy you go for.
Well, what do you think about the guys? The guys that can sleep with women, most of the women they sleep with, do you think they want to date them?
I honestly say it depends who you pick. I don't know. I would say in my personal experience, yeah, every guy that I've ever had sex with has wanted to date me.
Okay. Well, then you're good at you're good at picking. What do you guys think about guys who have access?
No, most guys, they just want to smash and just go. They don't care. You're just Yeah,
okay. What do you guys think?
I completely agree. I think generally guys aren't looking for a relationship. At our age, I think that they're really just looking to sleep around,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's right, and just because I think if we sleep with them, I don't think that we're wrong, but I think it's more of the guy's fault. A girl can be wanting to completely date a guy and sleep with them, but that doesn't mean the same for the guy. Honestly, I don't want to keep saying situationships, but I've had relationships with people where I'm way more into it than the guy, which which is sad, but I guess I don't know, it's whatever. But I think guys are more looking to sleep around, definitely in college.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably 90% of single guys, sex is just, a physical act that feels good. Whereas for women, it's an emotional, it's a spiritual, it's a deep thing. It's a sacred thing. I think it's the most intimate thing you can do with another person other than, feel love for each other in a different way. But yeah, no, I think that the majority of dudes do not value the act of sex the way that women do.
Well, that's a pretty profound thing, what you just said. Mm-hmm.
Which part?
Well, what you just said.
Okay.
In terms of how you value sex, I think probably I would say even a lot of people your age would not say that.
Absolutely.
So,
I think that thank you. I think that it is so wrong in today's not only media, but just our culture, the whole, sexual freedom and sexual revolution. There's certainly, positive sides to what that has done. It's, I don't necessarily think slut shaming in any way is good. I think that we live in America, which is the biggest gift any of us could have. And we all have the freedom to do whatever we like. But I believe that, valuing yourself and your body is, more important than anything.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that. So so the problem with if we get caught up, right, in being convinced that we're short-term mating strategists, which is the small pool of men and women who can smash and pass and they're content, if we get convinced that we're actually long-term mating strategists, we might end up alone from bad habits. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I would tell that 27-year-old who says I'm on the apps first thing, you need to get rid of it. You need to stop having promiscuous
Mm-hmm.
sex, okay?
Stephen Krug super
And it's because
Hold on, just a
$99.99. This Generation Z is ultra sensitive to negative feedback. It's a huge issue and must be changed. On this panel I see undeveloped 18 years old brains who are in dire need of a relationship mentor, or it will spiral down a bad road. Girls, read David Boss Evolution of Desire.
Do you guys have a response to Stephen Krug?
I think that our generation is extremely too sensitive. I fully agree with that.
All right.
I feel like
There
a
we
lot
go.
of people can almost. I think that everyone can. Agree
I don't
with
know
that.
anyone who calls our generation tough.
Yeah,
And I
at
feel
all.
like, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt.
No, go
I
ahead.
feel like I'm getting called out because I was like, listen, I think you're being a little condescending speaking to us like this. But I am fully with you. I totally agree. And I can confidently say not many people in my generation could grow up in the household I grew up in. I was not beaten, but my parents were not soft on me. And I am as well a blunt individual. So if I feel like I'm being spoken down to, I'm going to speak up to you because I totally respect you and I think you're super smart and I'd like to have a cordial conversation. And I think that you're looking at us as, Gen Z, who I think that I am, would not morally fall into that category. I wish I could articulate that better. That's not correct. But, if we're going to have this conversation, I totally agree. But it's just is the you and them. And so I agree. Gen Z needs to hear all of this. But this panel, I think it's more of a conversation than a lecture.
Oh yeah. I definitely. So I just graduated undergrad too in May. Right?
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah, I have a degree in anthropology, but I also saw like kind of the stuff that was going on in modern dating, and so, you guys are just so beautiful. And if you don't figure,
Thank you.
No,
You are too.
No, I genuinely mean it. And being pregnant with a daughter has really made this like a reality check because I had a bias in favor of men for like a really long time because I also work predominantly in men's issues. And men have been very good to me in these last couple of years in my life. But when I found out, when I had my ultrasound and there wasn't any dingleberries on my baby, I was like, oh crap, like what are women's issues again? And this is because I'm married to a very good man. He treats me very well. So I've just been protected from a lot of things. I would say for it's going to be 2 years soon, but I've been married for a year. I just had my first anniversary. So now I'm like being faced with this stuff. And so when you guys are talking about like these guys that are like using you, and it's a small pool of men. We know this, right? But when you're saying this stuff, I'm like, no, like I don't want this for my kid, and because when you guys talk about these failed breakups and stuff, because I'm a woman too. So I just think about all the times that I've cried over guys. And I know you guys have done it too, 2 a.m. like, I hate this guy, I wish he was dead. But it's just because I think we don't understand how they work, So that's all I really do. And it can sound like blunt and condescending, but I'm also just being faced with this. I have to figure out the world for my baby girl, and oh no, she's not going to be in California. I'm sorry, UC Santa Barbara, no thank you. We're going to stay in the Midwest. No, you got me messed up. No.